Hey guys, it's Audrey here. So I wanted to do a quick, I'm calling this the 4-year update on Victoria's hemangioma. She'll be 4 on July 9th, so we are really coming up to that 4-year mark. So if you have been following our story, you know a little bit about it, but if you haven't, just so you know, Victoria was actually born with a hemangioma, which is kind of like a strawberry mark. It's really just a common type of a birthmark that made of blood vessels. And as soon as, you actually with some hemangiomas, you can tell immediately, but with Victoria's, it was not visible at birth. In all honesty, it was like a little pink dot. We actually thought it was a little bit of a bruise that she may have experienced when she was being delivered, but it turned out that little pink dot, literally in the first week, got very pink, and then the course of the first 6 weeks of her life went from, pink to red. Truly blood red. And then it really turned into, and then it obviously started to turn into a growth, a bump. So Victoria literally had, we used to kind of call it a, almost like a red egg off of her head. It was about maybe the size of a $50, maybe a little bit bigger, right on her head. And because obviously she was a tiny baby, it really looked gigantic because she had a little tiny head and she had really this large hemangioma, really, obviously right front and center. And she was a very fair baby, so you could see it immediately. So, I just wanted to do a quick update because I do know that, when I had Victoria, I immediately went to YouTube. I immediately went to websites looking for information on hemangiomas, what happens, what people were doing about them. And, it really did help me to read, but mostly hear people's stories, because you can read a lot of stuff and it can get you really scared, and it definitely did that to me when Victoria was first born. But it really it helped me to see people's stories and people's journeys. So I had actually written down a couple notes, so I just wanted to let you guys know in case you don't know what a hemangioma is, or if you're going through it right now. So most hemangiomas are usually like a round or oval in shape. The larger lesions can be on different parts of the body, but most of them are oval in shape and usually on like a head or a neck. The size does vary. We actually had known someone who actually right around the same age as Victoria was born with a hemangioma that was almost the size, literally the size of like a little dot, almost like an eraser head on a pencil, right on his forehead. And Victoria's was obviously on the larger side. So, they definitely do range in size. You just never know. And then it differs on how fast they grow and when they stop. So I think I remember somebody saying to me that they will grow very aggressively in the first 12 months of her life. And then it will start very slowly to, really go away. It will literally start to shrink. The lesion will actually start to shrink. And I really didn't believe it. I genuinely did not believe it. It was it rapidly grew so quickly in those first few months that it really kind of threw me off and was very nervous about it. Also, if you followed our journey, you know that when Victoria was 6 months old, she ended up getting ulcers on her hemangioma. So we treated her at Boston Children's Hospital, which was, I can't say enough good things about them. They are beyond incredible. They answered every question and really were there for my husband and I. Not only the doctors, but the nurses. The staff there was unbelievable. So really what happens is, so as they do get older, yes, they do start to shrink. So you have that growth period right here from, truly birth to about 12 to 14 months. And they grow rapidly. And it does puff out. I called it Victoria's little egg. And it's very bright red in color. Now, when you hit about 12 months old, it starts to almost like kind of go into like a resting phase. I remember our doctor called it kind of a resting phase. And that really does stop around like that 14 to 16 month mark when you start to see I keep referring to my head, but Victoria's was here. So there was no change in size, and it really started to become a little bit less red, which, when Victoria's, it was so puffy, you push it down, it was puffy. And then right around the time that she was, I was going to say, maybe like 16 months, 18 months, it started to shrink a little bit. And the one thing that I noticed immediately was it started to change in color. So it went from being that bright red, that blood red color to more of a purplish, of a darker purple color. And then and I'll bring her over, and then it starts to kind of turn to a gray, and it does start to very slowly shrink away. Now she's 4 years old. They say that this shrinking period does go to about they're 5 years old. So in my mind, I know that I definitely have 1 more year of that. And we're just going to see what it looks like in another year. So let me grab Victoria. I'll bring her over, and hopefully she'll let me show you guys her hemangioma. Okay, so I'm here with Victoria. So Victoria's hemangioma here. Can you look down? Watch. Can you? There we go. Here, let me turn your head. There we go. So there's her hemangioma right here. I'm gonna turn your head. I'm gonna have you. No, it's right here. See, and as you can tell, it is now really turning into like, I mean, it's skin color. You know, the red is definitely has gone away. It's not puffy. It's really flush against her skin. Now, because Victoria did have the ulcers, we knew that when that happened, that it would impact what it looks like. Now, Victoria also had a month ago a little bit of an accident. She actually hit her head on a car door, and it did on our car door, and it started to bleed. And as any mom knows, if your child has a hemangioma, if they bleed, they bleed like crazy. Okay, we're not gonna sit here and spit, but I wanted to show. Let me see where we go. One more close, one more view of her hemangioma. Of her hemangioma, and so you guys could see what it looks like. But it did start to bleed, and they couldn't do stitches because they didn't want to stitch it, right? You couldn't do stitches, but it hurt you, right? Did it hurt? It did hurt her. But you know what the cool thing is you know, Victoria, it doesn't hurt her. She touches, she tells people. Obviously, people have asked what it is. And what do you tell people when they ask, what is that? What do you say?
Hemangioma.
It's a hemangioma. I think we've taught a lot of kids. What? It's a hemangioma. We've taught people what hemangiomas are. Oh, it's a fattyoma. So I just wanted to do a quick update. I mean, we obviously still have a year to go.
I like fambies.
And it makes her special. These are necklaces. It makes her special. It definitely was something that, you know, I did a lot of research on. We opted not to do any treatment. There's a lot of treatments that you can do. We opted not to do them. That was our own personal decision as a family. And along with our doctor, we decided to do that. So as you can see, she's 1,000% a normal, healthy little girl. It definitely impacted me at the beginning. I didn't want anything touching her head. I was afraid to have her even wear hats. But as slowly you just get used to it, and you get more comfortable with it, and you know what, that they're okay. But I definitely just wanted to do a quick update. She's taking my hair out now. You're going to get to see all my super duper gray hair. I'm getting it done this week. So can you say bye, everybody? Say,
bye, poop.
Well, bye, poop. There we go. Bye, everybody. If you have any questions,
poop.
again, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Bye.